read this reading here for you. Again, it's 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And for many of you, might think back to your wedding day. This is a verse that is read at many weddings. If I speak in tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I am a noisy gong and a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all the mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have faith so as to remove mountains, but have not love, I have nothing. I give away all I have, and if I deliver up my body to be burned, but have not love, I gain nothing. And here, love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love, it never ends. As for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part, but when the perfect comes, the partial will pass away. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up childish ways. For now we see a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part. Then I shall know fully, even as I have been fully known. And then there's verse 13, which happens to be our verse of the month, a new month, the month of October. And so let's recite this verse together. So now, faith, hope, and love abide. These three, but the greatest of these is love. This is the word of the Lord. Just a word real quick about that picture there. That picture might be familiar to some of you. That is out in the Raritan Bay. It's called the Great Beds Lighthouse. And it's no longer a functioning lighthouse. And it was actually bought several years ago by an individual that was put up for auction, and someone was able to buy the lighthouse. And the person who bought the lighthouse with the sole intention of putting the cross on top of that lighthouse. Pretty cool, huh? When you think about a lighthouse, it is a beacon. It guides the ships. It is a source of hope. There's land, right? And what a great symbol to place upon the top there. And that is the cross of Jesus Christ. Well, today we're talking about living with loss. This has been our message series for the last couple of weeks. It's an important message series for the times in which we live. There's been so much loss that has happened over the course of the last year and a half or so since the beginning of COVID. Not only have many of us lost loved ones to this disease, but at the same time, how many other things have been lost? We lost the opportunity for maybe social gatherings. Kids in school lost so much in terms of the learning experience and the socialization and just the part of being in school. Maybe you lost income. Maybe you lost work. The numbers of losses have been quite common this last year. So it's important we talk about living with loss. And today it says in the reading, faith, hope, and love abide. As I said, 1 Corinthians chapter 13, it is a reading that I probably do at more weddings than not. And it was likely that maybe this was read at your wedding. The thing is, though, the thing about 1 Corinthians 13 is that it doesn't describe the love of your spouse. It doesn't describe the love of your husband. It doesn't describe the love of your wife. It doesn't describe the way that you love them, because we are sinful, fallen human beings. Ultimately, 1 Corinthians chapter 13 describes the love of God. It sets an example for us. It is a love that we seek to emulate. It's a love that we seek to model, but we have to realize that to love in that way, we're never going to love quite in the same way. We're never going to reach or attain the measure of God's love for us. In life, there is loss. And loss can be hard. Yet it is in the midst of loss, and we've talked about this through this message series, in the midst of loss, there are things to be discovered. There are gifts to be found in some of the most incredible losses. I've talked with you, and I know I've experienced this myself, that there are things in life that I would never, ever want to endure. I would never, ever want to go through again. But I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I had that experience because of what was discovered, what was learned, and how my faith deepened through that experience, my faith in God. So ultimately, 1 Corinthians describes the love of God. And when it comes to loss, this is the time where we go looking for faith, hope, and love. When life is good, and life has valleys, and life has mountains, it's a lot like the stock market, right? Or the housing market. There's times where right now it's up, but there will certainly come a time when it is down as well. And so life is a lot like that. There's highs and there's lows in life. And when life is good, we're for the most part content. We may not necessarily be looking for these things, faith and hope, because, well, we're content in that moment. But when life takes a turn, we need faith, we need hope, and we need love. They talk about necessities in life. You need air to breathe, right? You need water. You can't go very long without water. You need shelter. And those are all physical needs important to sustain life. But taking it a step further, there's more than just physical needs. We have mental needs, we have emotional needs, and we have spiritual needs as well. And those needs are just as important as the physical needs. And one of the needs that we have is hope. Because it is hope that keeps us going. How often do you hear about, you hear the stories of prisoners of war, and it's those who survived were the ones who were able to hold on to hope. Someone's lost, someone's stranded in a desperate situation. What keeps them going forward is hope. We need hope to live. And when we lose hope, we lose the encouragement, we lose the inspiration, we lose the ability to keep moving forward. Furthermore, we realize that hope, faith, and love, it says these three abide. In other words, there's a relationship between them, that they go together. It may be said that love, of those three, that love is the greatest. But the thing is that you're not connected to that love without faith and without hope. So what is the relationship between faith, hope, and love? Well, first of all, hope. Hope is the byproduct of faith. Faith is the seed, and hope is the fruit. It is hope that comes from faith. And furthermore, what faith is not. Think about faith. Faith is not having all the answers. Sometimes we have more questions than we have answers. And I say this many times. Jeff probably gets tired of me hearing about this when we have our weekly meetings. And one of the things I always say, it's more important to ask the right questions than to have the right answers. Because we don't even know what we don't know. And faith is holding It is holding that God knows the answers, that he has the plan, even when we don't have a clue. Furthermore, faith is not positive thinking. This is very popular in our culture. Hope for the best. Keep hope alive. Just believe, right? But what is that ultimately? That is faith in faith itself. And let's talk about it in just a moment, that faith has an object. And the truth of the matter is that to some degree, we all have faith. But the question is, what is it that we put our faith in? Is it just believing that the best is going to work out? What is our faith in? What is the substance of our faith? So we got to recognize that faith is more than just positive thinking. Furthermore, faith is not seeing the way out. It is not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. And sometimes there's just darkness. That's all you see. You don't have a plan. You don't know the way out. And that's where we simply trust God, that we keep walking, we keep putting one foot forward, that eventually, even though we may not see it, the light will appear. Furthermore, fear equals the lack of faith. Now, at the same time, faith and fear, they go together. Faith is not necessarily the absence of fear. So fear is the lack of faith, but recognize it doesn't go the other way around. Faith is not the lack of fear. Faith is trust in God, the ability to move forward in spite of my fears, the courage to move forward in spite of my fears. And there's another type of faith. Another thing to know about faith is that misplaced faith equals folly, foolishness. And oftentimes we're tempted to put our faith in the things that are less than the love of God. As I said, recognize faith has an object. And what is the object of faith? Well, think about this. Faith, hope, and what abide? Love. Faith, hope, and love abide, and the greatest of these is love. So the object of our faith is ultimately, it's the love of God that is found in Jesus Christ, our Lord. There is nothing greater to put our faith in. And so as much as I talk about faith and hope, recognize this: more important than the quantity of your faith is the quality of your faith? No, because it's not about the quantity or the quality of your faith. It is all about who ultimately your faith is in. That is the object of your faith, that your faith is in God. Listen to the words of Jesus here. Jesus said to them, because of your little faith. Recognize that as great as faith as we have, in comparison to the love of God, it is just a small, small thing. Because of your little faith. For truly I say to you, if you have faith like a grain of a mustard seed, and you will say to this mountain, move from here and there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. So Jesus says, ultimately here, what he's saying is it's not the measure of your faith. It's not the quantity of your faith. It's not the quality of your faith. It has nothing to do with you at all. It has everything to do with me. Jesus is, throughout the scriptures, throughout the Gospel of John, he says, I am. It goes back to Exodus. Moses, remember that story? The burning bush? Moses asked God, what is your name? And what does God say? I am who I am. And what's that mean? Well, I am. You fill in the blank there. Because God is. God fulfills whatever that blank, whatever is missing. When faith is missing, when hope is missing, when love is missing, God, he is. So Jesus, just listen to these. I want to share these with you. And if you got the sermon outline, I have these verses printed out for you. I'm going to read through them, and I want you to reflect upon what each of these means. In the Gospel of John, there are 7 different I am statements. The number 7 is significant in the Bible. It's a number of completion. It's a number of fullness. And this is what Jesus says. He says, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me shall not hunger. Whoever believes in me shall never thirst. What he's saying there, he's saying, I am your provision. When you feel like you are lacking, I provide everything you need and more. Furthermore, Jesus says, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life. Jesus talking about hope here. Jesus talking about guidance. When we don't know where to turn, where to go, he gives us that. He says here, I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved and will go in and out and find pasture. Sometimes we may feel like we lack opportunity. Sometimes we may feel like we lack a future, that there's no door to go through. But Jesus says here, what? I am your future. I am your door. He says, I am, here we're Good Shepherd Lutheran Church, right? And he says, I am your good shepherd. I am the good shepherd who lays down his life for the sheep. Jesus gave his life. He died on the cross for you and me. And if he'll die on the cross for us, think about it. If someone is willing to give their life for you, what else are they not willing to do for you? They'll do anything for you in Jesus. He'll do anything. He'll do anything for you. Jesus says, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. It's a reality in this world. We're all going to die one day. And what happens? What happens on that day? Well, Jesus says, our hope's not in this world. Our hope is in him, and he is the resurrection. And we look forward to an eternity together with him because he lives. We know that we too shall live a new life. Jesus says, I am the way. I am the truth. Let's face it. Sometimes we don't know what to believe. There's so much quote-unquote fake news, right? And it comes from every side. We don't know what to believe. Jesus says, you can believe in me. I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. Furthermore, he says, I am the vine. You are the branches. Whoever abides in me. There's that word abiding. Faith, hope, love, abide. Here, whoever abides in me, faith, hope, and love, he it is that bears much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Sometimes we're worn out. We're tired. We're weary. We need rest. Jesus, he says, you don't need to do anything for me. You don't need to be all that you think you need to be. He just says, abide in me. Rest in me, and you'll find comfort for your soul. I found this poem. I'm going to end on this here. I found this poem based upon all of these I am statements in the Bible. And I know I shared it with you one other time a few years back, but this has been meaningful to me throughout my ministry. And I want to read it to you again. Again, it's on the outline. You say, I need a new idea. I am. Who could possibly be smart enough to figure all this out? I am. You're going under. I'm going under. Somebody help me. I am. What works? I am. What's the latest thing? I am. What's the hippest thing? I am. Nothing's real anymore. I am. Leaders are bailing out. Who's going to last? I am. If we fail to get the job done, who's going to do it? I am. This generation deserves more. I am. I'm pouring into others. Who's pouring into me? I am. I'm not sure who's on my team. I am. Nobody is listening to me. I am. I can't hold it together anymore. I am. Who can I trust? I am. I've got vision bigger than my resources. I am. I've given all I can, but it's never enough. I am. Somebody just hold me. I am. I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life, I am the same yesterday, I am the same today, I am the same forever. I am the solution, I am the sustainer, I am the restorer, I am the life giver. I am the beginning, I am the end. I am the first, I am the last. I am God, and there is no one besides me. I am the Lord, and there is no other. I am, that is my name. That is my memorial name to every generation. I am God, and I am looking for a little leader who's thrilled to be. I am not, because they know I am. Heavenly Father, we thank you that you are our all in all, our everything, that you are love personified in Jesus Christ, that you hold us in your arms, and that gives us faith and hope to live, to serve, and to be your people. Thank you, our great I am. Amen.